is set to end his 7-game absence from the Nets for personal reasons. Yesterday, he told reporters, quote, "I just needed a pause." The superstar point guard also offered a deeper look into why he stepped away from the game. Take a listen.
When things become overwhelming in life, you just got to take a step back and realize what's important. So I'm not alone in this. And, that's just a big thing about also mental health, just coming in and being yourself first and then being able to perform. With everything going on in the world, politically, socially, like I said, it's hard to ignore. I want to make changes daily. There are so many oppressed communities, so many things going on that are bigger than just a ball going in the rim. So for me, I just, like I said, it's just the balance of it.
Shannon, what was your reaction to his explanation?
I believe him. I believe Kyrie, that this weighed heavily on Kyrie's mind. What happened in the Capitol, what he sees going on in America, and it seems to be unending. It's a never-ending battle, and Kyrie's like, damn, isn't there something I can do? Skip, he's to be commended. It was reported Stacks said yesterday that he purchased a home for George Floyd's family.
He did.
He should be commended for that. What he did for the WNBA, giving, I think, $1.5 million, paying 9 scholarships for Lincoln University students.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot of things, giving $300,000-$400,000. He should be commended. He's been very magnanimous.
Mm-hmm.
But Skip, these things are not mutually exclusive.
Yep.
You can be great in one aspect of your life, but be very unprofessional in another aspect. The only thing that I've ever said, the only thing that I had a problem with what Kyrie did, just like you reached out and told your teammates, I mean, I would like you probably should have told them instead of like a couple of minutes before the game, you probably should have reached out a little early, but maybe you didn't know. Maybe what you were dealing with became so overwhelming, that's when you could do it.
Yep.
How about give the Sean Marks and Steve Nash that same courtesy? Skip, Sean Marks could have easily said, Skip, if he would have known, if Kyrie had reached out and said, Sean, man, this thing is overwhelming, bro. It's bubbling up, and I just need to take a little time. Sean Marks would have come on and said, look, we know where Kyrie is. He's in a great space. No problem with what Kyrie's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happened, Skip. He said, I hope Kyrie had a good reason for stepping away. Steve Nash, like hell, Steve Nash didn't even know. And when you tell that you don't really need a head coach, I'm not surprised Steve Nash didn't know, because Kyrie didn't think enough of you that you thought you should be standing on the sideline anyway.
Yep.
So that was my only thing. Skip, people trying to make it like, oh, Kyrie should. No.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop this, people.
Yep.
Stop this notion because someone gives millions of dollars, because someone does something generous, or the kindness of their heart. They can be flawed in other aspects of their life.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I've said, and I'll repeat that before I turn it over to you, Skip, I believe Kyrie handled this situation unprofessional. Just call your boss. I would like to think that my bosses at Fox, if I said I need to step away, I'm going to call you, Skip, but I'm going to reach out to my boss and say, guys, look, man, I got a lot going on right now.
Yep.
I'm going to need to step away for a minute. I'm not just going to not show up, call you 10 minutes before the show, say, Skip, hey, I'm out today, bro. That's all. That's all Kyrie had to do. Like you did your teammates, called them and said, bro, I ain't going to be able to go tonight. Call your boss, Sean Marks. Call Steve Nash and say, guys, I got some things going on that I'm going to need to take a step away for a minute, but I'm going to be back as soon as I possibly can.
Yep.
Thanks for your support.
Okay.
Done.
My problem with responding to what you just said is I don't know enough to know exactly what transpired behind the scenes, but you're probably right about where you're heading with that. But obviously, when it comes to that phrase that he reached for, it's about mental health.
Yes.
All bets are off, especially in this chaotic, tumultuous time we've all just gone through. And especially as a black man in America who takes his place in the world very seriously, I believe Kyrie got overwhelmed. Obviously, he's also the same Kyrie who said a couple months back, we don't need a coach.
Right.
So maybe he's thinking, I'm only beholden to my brothers in the locker room.
Correct.
They're the ones who need to know my feelings.
Right.
And I don't know my feelings, so I don't know what transpired. But again, fair point that you make, but I'm going to buy everything that Kyrie said. And it was interesting to me that he actually leaned forward on his elbows because he was reaching deep down, trying to be as open-hearted as he could about what he just went through. And look, what does LeBron James do best? It's sort of what you'd call the separation of church and state, where LeBron can be equally passionate with Kyrie about Black Lives Matter, the issues in the Oval Office, all the things that we've all been facing, both people of all colors in this country. And yet LeBron can, as Kyrie said, there's a separation that you need to achieve. LeBron can separate.
Yes.
He could go to the bubble and just separate it. Just go, boom, just slam the door on all things Black Lives Matter and say, okay, I came here for a purpose. I came here to win a championship.
Correct.
So I'm going to try to pull my team together as best I can under dire circumstances in this bubble. And we're going to try to stay unified long enough for 3 months to win a championship. Maybe we'll be the last team standing, and they were.
Right.
And yet that doesn't mean that LeBron thinks any less seriously about Black Lives Matter, because when he was called upon in the bubble, he spoke.
Yes.
But he can separate.
Right.
And Kyrie has talked yesterday about, I'm having a hard time separating, making, as he called it, that distinction between my private life and my professional life.
Right.
Well, I've always said, if you prioritize that your private life, your life as a United States citizen is more important to you right now than your professional life as an NBA basketball player, I'm great with that. It was what Colin Kaepernick had to choose. Which way do I want to go? Obviously, the league ended up choosing for him. But there was a moment where he had to say, who am I? What am I? And if Kyrie wants to at some point become a crusader, a social justice warrior, if he wants to follow in Dr. King's footsteps, God bless you.
Well, Skip, like I said, my thing is, Skip, he could have done that. I mean, if it's so overwhelming, step away from the game like Maya Moore. Maya Moore says, you know what? I love the game of basketball. But this is all-encompassing. This is taking so much of my focus.
I got it.
Sean Mark said they're disappointed he's not out there with them. He didn't want to speculate why Kyrie was out, but you hope there was more than an adequate excuse why he needs personal time. Skip, if Kyrie had conveyed to him what he's conveying to us, Sean Marks would have stepped to the podium, says Kyrie has given us a great explanation. That's what he would have done.
But I told you yesterday, and I'll repeat it one more time, it's also possible that when you're delving into mental health, that Sean Marks felt like he couldn't even touch that publicly, that he had to distance himself from it because he couldn't comment even on what Kyrie might or might not have told him.
Yeah, what if he said it was a personal matter? I mean, people have personal matters. They might have a family member, have a mom or dad.
That was the statement from the team from the start that he stepped away for because of a personal issue. Okay.
Before or after he had stepped away?
After he'd stepped away.
That's my. It's easy, Skip. Dealing with these issues does not excuse you from being professional. See, we got to stop this. Oh, because he's dealing with this. And we take mental health issues very, very serious, as we should. Especially for a long time in the black community, Skip, you were looked down upon if you talked about mental health issues. That was a sign of weakness. That's what
in all communities.
And then look how they look at Paul George. Paul George said he was dealing with it. Now they thinking calling Paul George soft.
Ridiculed.
But my thing is, Skip, there's a level of professionalism that must be maintained.
I'm with you. So with Kyrie, I appreciate this side of him because I sort of suffer from this syndrome myself. And that is, he is a very deep thinker. He has a high intellect. You can make fun of it all you want about, is the earth flat? You know, was there a conspiracy to assassinate JFK? you can go on and on. Well, I think about those things myself. And my mother used to tell me back in my college days, you think too much. And I'd say, what else is there to do? Like I was taught at Vanderbilt in my literature classes, what did the ancient Greeks say? The end of man is to know. It's to know, right? Like you think until you finally figure out, this is what it all means, right? Well, Kyrie's trying to get there. Unfortunately, he's paid $1 billion, it seems like, to play professional basketball for a team that just acquired James Harden and has his best friend Kevin Durant. Well, obviously, do they have a chance to at least win the Eastern Conferences? Sure they do.
A chance to do something really
Okay?
special.
So as fans, we sit back and we say, Kyrie,